We're gonna open up the, you all set?
Yep.
Okay. We're gonna open up the January Sewer and Water Commissioners meeting. It's January 15th. And we'll go after 7. We're gonna have the review and approval of the minutes of the meeting.
I
You
looked
guys
through my
check them
email.
out, or?
I don't have meeting minutes.
Oh, these
No,
are
I
the
looked.
water reports, I'm sorry.
I know she said she put time in, but I went through all my emails. I don't
Yeah.
have any new minutes. But we have the lady that does them.
Yeah.
That does all the other town meeting minutes.
All right, then we'll skip the assessors manager water and sewer reports.
So all the water reports are here back to June,
Now going back to July.
July, August, September, October. November, December. Going to read through December's and then you guys can review the rest.
Yeah.
Alright, so for the water report, December will report for the November totals. Pumped 6.9434 million gallons for an average of 231,446 gallons a day. Total KOH used was 517 gallons, 517.75 gallons. Total chlorine was 218.25 gallons of batch solution. The samples were good. Collected all the tank. Fixed the decant weir actuator on the SBR3 treatment plant. Did tank inspections, changed the analyzer filter cartridges at primary, greased all the water pumps. Motors currently are online. No meters were replaced, 2 final reads, 2 new connections and meter installs. Fabricated and installed the cover for the wastewater treatment plant filter. We had a bulk KOH delivery, 1,900 gallons to the 3 pump stations. After 5 leaks, the water line in the filter building down here ended up replacing the whole line with the plastic service line. And when he found a leak on the headwork screener, that wasn't really detected, but after replacing the line, he heard the water running, so he was trying to figure out where it was going.
So that's just the regular domestic water line?
Yeah.
That's supplies it?
Yeah.
5 leaks? What kind of line? What kind of?
Copper. 3/4 inch line, I think. It's 3/4 and it goes to 1 inch. Yeah, it just
Pinholes?
had one at a fitting, then another
Oh,
fitting,
fitting.
and he'd repair a section and then just kind of chase it, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
change the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think what it was is the leak that he found on the screener, it was just kind of flowing wide open. So with the high velocity just continuing through that line, just wore it out. We had one storm in the cloud. That's it for the water. Any questions on that?
Nope.
I came over with the sewer report, didn't you?
Yeah.
I won't hold much. So for December, we had 6.65 inches of rain. Cinegrow hauled off 113,100 gallons. Treated the flow of 4.95 million gallons for an average of 159,000 gallons a day. Wasted 125,000 gallons for an average of 4,000 a day. Used 1,001 gallons of alum, 374 kilowatt hours of electricity. The average river flow was 9.046 cubic feet per second. He's preparing for the first quarter toxicity and the Cinegrow annual testing. Pump stations were cleaned out by Helgerson, just like we do every year with the, at the same time we do the
Line lines. up.
Siphon line, yeah. And the plant lines down to the headworks building. The decant weir on SPR 3 was replaced and back online. Any questions on the sewer side?
Nope.
So we got the 3 job descriptions here. I talked to Matt about getting them posted. He said he wanted the board to review them all and make sure that you guys all vote and approve them at the meeting before he posts. So we want to go in order and just kind of pick the first one and get through, either agree or make modifications, changes.
Well, looking, I'm reading
The assistants,
Can I give you a
executive
chance
assistant.
to read them?
reading the,
You read them?
yeah, I read
Yeah, I
it.
did.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm reading the assistant chief operator.
You
already
looking
read
at
them
the
all?
assistant
Yeah, I read-
chief, or?
I read all 3. Yeah, that's what the,
Okay.
that was the first one, this was the first
I
one.
I thought I had it as the
Yeah.
administrative assistant, then the assistant chief for the water.
Okay. Did you review these, Bob?
I did, yes, I read through all of them.
Okay. And they meet all the criteria that,
I asked Matt if they met all of his criteria, he said yes.
and do they meet your criteria
Yes.
for, as far as what
For what
duties
they
are?
do,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, good. Okay.
I'm just gonna add bold.
The only question I would have on that would be under the supervision portion.
Yep.
Obviously, the person would work under the general supervision of you.
Mm-hmm.
But in your absence, if you were out of some sort, say you were on vacation or might be, should there be and/or commissioners? Just in case in any absence that, and then there may be times that we ask them to do something that, so I would just ask, just on
Which
that.
one is that?
I know that's the way,
Under the supervision for the executive assistant.
right. I think they should have the, or the water sewer commissioner, but it's generally under your supervision.
Mm-hmm.
Unless by default
I
it
said-
would be,
By right, I think you already have that because
right, it's,
you're the authority.
right,
I'm delegated
Right.
that through you,
yeah,
so I think that's by right.
okay. I would think that as well, but I didn't know sometimes, what if you have an employee that says, well, my job description doesn't say that,
Yeah.
you know, but that, I think that would, maybe that may be far-fetched.
I mean,
Just
I can
ask
the
them, just
question,
ask them,
yeah.
if it's covered, then I would just be fine with that. If it's not needed, then no problem, sometimes less is better.
And I did just kind of want to get a clear kind of path on how you want to proceed once these are posted. I bring it up because we're talking about this one, and they were adamant up at the town hall that on this position, that they have some input,
Mm-hmm.
because that role plays so tightly with the departments up there, with the munis and the billing and the collections, and they need to work close together, so they kind of feel that they should have some input to make sure it's gonna be a good fit with all the other staff that they're gonna have to work with, so.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I think I think Jean would probably, she's the finance director. so
Yeah,
I'm sure she
Jean
would
said
want-
her, and I can't remember if she said Cheryl or the collector.
Mhm.
There was 2 or 3 that she wanted to have involved in it, so.
Yeah, well, they could give us their input. I mean, we could provide them, give them the applications, and they could,
Yeah, I'm not sure if they wanna be involved in the interview process, or,
mhm.
I can ask them how, but like I said, I just wanna get a clear understanding as to the path that I follow. Once these get posted, I get applications, I skim through them first, narrow it down. Who's doing the interviews? Is it the full board, one member of the board? And then, like I said, on this position, they wanna be involved, so I just wanna get a consensus as to if they're involved in the interviews, or we give them the resumes and they choose what they think would fit between the 3, or whatever the top few candidates
Yeah, I
are.
mean, it's ultimately, it's gonna be our decision. However, if they wanna give us their input,
Yeah.
and I would certainly welcome that. I would think that's,
Yeah, it'd be good to have their input.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So, maybe when we get into that, we can decide on what, I mean, I think we're gonna have to have the board can have a meeting. The first meeting is you can have an executive session, right? On interviews?
Yes, when it comes down to the final, I think it's like the final 2 or 3 applicants, then you have to do an open meeting if you're gonna have the full board. But before that, to narrow it down, just because, people are looking for a job, they don't want it publicly out there.
Yeah, that's right, that's why I wanted to make sure. So maybe we could go that route, is we'll have
Do the initial interviews in an executive session.
yeah. And then,
In the initial interview, we'll have you and.
Well, yeah, I'll narrow it down, but
commissioners.
then we'll get down to, if we, depending on how many candidates we get, but if we get down to like 5 candidates, we can do an executive session,
mhm,
do those, narrow it down to, 2 or 3, whatever,
yeah,
and then that would be either open meeting or however you guys wanna proceed after that.
yeah. So I would think, I guess, when do we wanna have, we probably have them have, Jean or whoever,
Mhm.
whoever's recommended from Cheryl.
Their
or Howard,
representative.
Yeah, whoever, or the both of them, if they'd like,
Yeah.
maybe they could join us and have a meeting.
In the executive session,
Yeah.
or, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there would be the full board, and then, Jean and Cheryl, if they would like to come in and go through it.
Yeah, I can't remember if they said Lisa as well. Because we do want to take the select board up.
Oh, with, okay. Yeah, we don't want to have too many.
Yeah. It's a little overwhelming if
Yeah.
you come into an interview with 15 people.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we can figure that out.
Yeah.
Get that.
I'm just,
But I think it's a good idea. to-
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And, my take is, I think the 2 most needed positions are obviously the executive assistant.
also, the admin is a bit,
That has
is
to be-
big because
that-
it's killing me right
Yeah,
now.
we have to get that filled. And then also the assistant chief operator
Mhm.
for the wastewater. The secondary operator of the water would be the last one, I think, that we should be, I mean, we've never had another assistant operator, it's always been.
Well, we
just-
did for a little while. We had 2 for a while. And I thought it was the first one to leave, so.
Well, he was kind of, he he kind of floated between,
No, it was
Was it
strictly for
strictly-
one, yeah.
so just both Steve says,
Because the one Steve was over here. We hired the other Steve for over there. So the two Steves were here at the same time. We had
Yeah.
Peter and Dave. So I had all the positions filled at one time.
oh, that's one, because when Dave was,
Yeah.
right, the Dave retired.
Right.
Right, because we
And
knew
then
yeah.
the second one, that was
That's
the
been a
first
few
one,
years
was
ago.
retired.
Yes, that's right, that's right. So, I think just, I mean, obviously we gotta get into the budget, so I think that maybe, if we at least get these two, make sure these are budgeted for, and then on the.
I want to
third
budget
one-
for all of them because, just so you're aware, the state's coming down on all the operated requirements,
Mhm.
and they started hitting other towns that I've already talked to other people about, that they point out in the regulations that we need a primary treatment operator because we're a T1. We need a primary treatment operator, and it says in the regs that that operator has to be on the treatment side for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then you need a primary distribution operator, which has to be in the distribution system 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. So that's what the regs say, and that's what they're pushing for inspections. And we're due for inspection this year, so that may come up.
Mhm.
I don't know.
We still have, our listed operators is still, we still have two other listed operators as well, so. So we
I'm
still,
just saying
we
that
should be,
they're pushing
Yeah.
and the other ones that I've spoke with said that they're not allowing the superintendent to be listed. I mean, you can list him as an operator, but he can't be listed as the primary on the distribution ledger. So that's what they're pushing. They've never given me a hard time over it, but
yeah,
I'm just telling you what's been going around when I talk to them. But that's why I'm saying I prefer to budget it. If we don't fill it and we don't spend it, that's fine, but if
yeah,
I
no,
don't have
they
it
always
budgeted,
end up getting spent.
well, we can't spend
That's-
salary unless it's,
No, but it goes back into retained earnings, and retained earnings gets.
Yeah. gets reallocated
Yeah.
next year.
So.
So you're gonna put in a budget for all three.
Yeah, we can get into the budget, we can get into that section of it. But I would say post them all, and then if we don't move forward on
We'll
that.
post them and, if I get a good applicant for the secondary operator, I would say take advantage of it because it's hard to find right
Yeah,
now.
right.
Yeah.
Because every town's looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
Salary wise, we in line with everybody else, or we still way below?
No, I think we're
No, we
pretty-
came in better and then now all the other towns have caught up or went ahead, but we're still way better than we were, so.
competitive.
Yeah. We're more in the range of what it should be. It's just a matter of,
'Cause I know we're way behind at one time.
but other towns have all stepped up, all for the same reason. Can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
So what everybody's doing is trying to be appealing to stealing from another town.
Right, they were trying to, there's so many operators, right? They're all working,
Yeah.
so you gotta pull them from somewhere.
Yep. Any comments or questions about the descriptions themselves, or
No, I would go through.
No, that
I
seemed
thought
good to
that-
me.
I thought they looked good.
so if you can just vote on those to approve the 3 descriptions as written
Good
with the
afternoon, I would just,
That was supposed to actually.
He said he
yeah.
wanted
We
them
asked-
voted on.
By the bylaw, we're supposed to,
really?
we're supposed to create these and vote on them.
Make a motion?
And then do you want to have something in there about that, the language
I would just
on the supervision?
ask Matt if that's, as long as it's covered. If it's
So if it's covered as is, if he
That's-
says that we should add it, we'll add it
add it, if it's not, then,
based on the
yeah, it's-
discussion after I
Yeah.
pose the question. Okay.
So I would make a motion to approve the job descriptions as presented with that discussion of the supervisory role, if we need to add commissions and everything else.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so it's a very rough draft right now. Maybe we should talk about some- So I didn't put salary numbers in there yet because I haven't run through the calculations and I haven't heard what their, what the step is for COLA yet. That's pretty much the deciding factor at this point.
So is this,
Everybody's hit
so this is a FY,
the numbers that you see full is the current operating budget, the 25.
Which one you want, water or sewer?
Sewer. So, we start.
so the left one,
The left one is the current operating budget. Yeah.
Okay, then, so that's FY 25.
Although I did fix the one spot in this
5.6.
current budget that wasn't correct, and it wasn't correct when I presented it, so I don't see it oversleeping yet. But on the retirement, originally it had, we had 35,000 on the retirement, but then I had 30,000 on the total number because I didn't have it linked together, and I didn't catch that whenever I went through all the numbers. So I corrected that, but I don't know what that number's gonna be. So that's the one thing that's different on the budget that you see right now, is that where it says 35 under the sewer, 3/4 of the way down for the county retirement. It said 35 on the line item, but then when I did the total retirement pension, it didn't carry down and it kept the previous years, which was 30. So that's the one difference that I just did it so I'd get it right whenever I finish plugging my numbers in this one.
Get the next step up.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Get the next step up. These numbers
Progressively.
These numbers are a
The
little
cheater
small.
cheaters.
You got two cheaters now.
Well, these are regular prescription ones, but the readers, when it's this small, I need a new set of prescription.
Even I need to do them now.
I start looking at all the small numbers with my regular glasses, it starts to get blurry.
Yeah. So a number that I did plug in that went up, I plugged in a higher number under the other services, which is Synagro. We're already anticipating a substantial increase there, and depending on which way that goes, I have no idea what the potential. I
I'm
know.
gonna put 32,000 in that.
No, I didn't go up. Yeah, it was 32,000. Yeah.
When will they let you know what the increase is?
I'm not sure yet, and we've gotten notice that Woonsocket's not going to be accepting out of state, or potentially not accepting out of state waste. If that goes through, this number could be
Transportation
way
costs.
under. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you were in the meeting that I was in where I was trying to
Yeah.
play an angle to work an edge on that, but
Yep.
I don't know if I'll get anywhere.
What meeting was that?
For the waste energy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
facility.
That's right.
It's up to you, so,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't really know where that number's gonna end up. If I gotta find someplace quick and kinda, we're in a hurry, I'm sure the cost is gonna be significant. We've been working on trying to get Upper Blackstone, but so is every other freaking town in the state, so Upper Blackstone's kind of a long shot. Our other option was like New York, the cost there for the trucking is gonna kill us. I know I was in a meeting a couple months ago with Webster, and I think they put their increase in at like 40 or 50%, and then they didn't have an alternative, and then they budgeted, I think, $1 million to study what to do with their sludge. So, so that's one of our big hurdles that is potentially coming up. I want to say we're hopefully got 2 years to figure it out, but I don't want to commit to saying we got 2 years to figure it out. And even if we have 2 years to figure it out, we need to start now to figure out a plan. Yeah, 2 years goes by quick, and if, you know, if we had to do something like put a belt filter press in, I mean, that's probably a 2 year process alone. Let's come up with something to make
Our own.
sludge cake instead of liquid sludge. I mean, you've seen that process before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we did that in
They still have the one down
They
there?
do.
Okay.
I already thought of that.
Call them.
I didn't call them yet,
Oh.
but it's still sitting there. I know. I looked
Would it
at
be
it.
big enough for what we need?
Yeah, it's a 1
Oh,
meter.
yeah.
It's a
Great.
1 meter press, and we process more down there than we do here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we could get away with that short term. It's an old machine, but I know that machine. We need belt.
Will we have to haul stuff up there, or can we bring
I
the
would
machine
say
down?
we'd have to relocate it down here and build something, so you're still talking a significant expense.
Hmm.
No matter what we do, it's gonna be a significant expense.
Was that operational when it got decommissioned?
Well, it was.
Yeah, right, yeah, time works.
Well, I looked at it when I went up there when they were, it was actually, I was talking to someone from Pine that was looking at that facility up there,
Yep,
and then they realized how thick the walls were on those tanks and everything. They were like, well, this is gonna be more work than we thought.
a little bit of demo.
Yeah, well, they were thinking, 12-inch wall, but those are like 18 or 20 inches thick,
Right.
solid
Those
concrete.
walls up there?
Oh, yeah,
Ooh.
and it's full of rebar that's that thick.
Yeah.
Remember that.
I remember we had to cut it out when the guy fell off of the wall and fell inside the tank, but they had all the rebar in, so you had to go 22 feet up and down to get to him. So when the EMTs and everybody showed up, they're like, yeah, we can't do that. We gotta get him out of here on a stretcher, so they just cut the rebar out and we had to redo all the rebar.
Oh, man.
That was the day the Douglas fire, the Douglas ambulance wouldn't start.
Oh, that
So
was,
they-
yeah.
so they had to call
Yeah, I
Uxbridge.
remember that.
Really?
I remember we had that. Is that when was the ambulance down at the mill at that point? Or no?
They were doing a lot of the calls. It was mostly those people that were
Yeah,
responding, but it
yeah.
wasn't down there. It was up
Oh,
at the
okay,
fire
'cause we used
station.
to leave it at,
Right.
at the mill.
Yeah, because half of the
Half
EMTs
these
work
work
down
down
there.
Oh, really?
Just leave it down there, so we just hop in and the mill was
More
going, they
efficient.
let them take,
Right.
a call. Do it by the hour.
Do what you gotta do, yep.
Okay.
They promoted that. Like, I got my EMT license down there because they promoted people to do it, and they were like, if
Yeah.
you get it, if there's a call, you can leave work and go. And yeah, at that time, it was the plant manager was big into EMS stuff, so
Yeah.
The town had a real good relationship with the mill
yeah.
back then. Which was helpful.
Yep.
So do we have, anything on any percentages yet?
No, I don't.
Didn't put anything
I
in
gotta,
it?
it's one of the things that I haven't updated,
So we can do,
and we didn't put any in before she left, so I gotta go back to June and put everything. So I haven't got to that point yet.
Jean probably would have it.
She has what
She-
we've expended, but it
Yeah.
hasn't been reconciled for what our books show, so. And hers won't be like this format that I create.
Right.
Because I usually have it lined up exactly with this, so you can see each line item where we stand.
So the only thing that really, I mean, one of the stuff was obviously the health insurance, all that stuff, that's.
I pulled all those because I don't have numbers from them yet.
Yeah. We don't get what the number is, what it is.
I mean, the existing is there, so you can see what it was last year.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Just I would like to see what we expended in the previous fiscal year, total
Yeah.
expenditure, and then where we are year to date on
Yeah.
that, just so we can have a comparison.
Yeah.
Or 2-year comparison, see where, make sure we're in line. Or if
Yeah,
there's
so you
any-
can see a full year of what was expended and then where we stand percentage-wise right now.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that's what I usually
Watch
give you, I
the
just
trend.
don't have.
yeah. So then you can you can see a 2-year, and then you can see where you're trending in the current year.
Right.
And if you need to project it out a little more, or reduce it, or increase it, it's always helpful. So those ones are pretty straightforward. The only ones that are really, the ones that aren't just general expenses, like some of the bigger accounts, repair and maintenance agreements, if you could just pull those out and list them just to come up, whatever, like you got 113,000, just break down that 113 into where it's
So
gonna be.
I haven't redone all the numbers, but yeah, I have a breakdown of that, but I started updating it, but I don't have it fully updated
Okay.
yet. And some of this was included in this year's budget, but,
I know we're gonna pull out some that we've, obviously projects we've already done and.
right, yeah, I've got some that I did, you know, you can see
Yeah.
ones that I've crossed off,
Yeah.
but there's some that I still plan on doing this year. But some of it was up in the air as to whether or not I still had the funds, cause, you know, we budget for these, but then we had the decanter go down,
Right,
we had to get that done. The
Right.
motor went down and we didn't expect the motor and the SBR to go down. And we couldn't get another one of those motors, so they had to rebuild the one that smoked.
Mhm.
And when it smoked, it did some of the bearing races, so they had to actually send that out to a machine shop, get some of the parts kind of remade and put back together. So it was a fairly significant bill to get that done. And we had to have a company come in with a crane truck twice to pull it and then pull another one and put it over to that one, so.
we usually have so I'm looking to see, usually there's a line item for unanticipated, project, we put a buffer in the budget for that, so I'm just trying to see where that,
Well, I've never really put a buffer. I put our typical maintenance items that go on, typical repair and maintenance stuff,
Right.
but those are all kind of smaller items that add up.
yeah,
You know, like the water line or, replacing a bearing or,
I
stupid
mean,
little things,
right,
but-
there's a lot of things we don't know what's gonna
Right.
happen, we could budget, we could track.
Right, but I mean, I don't put in there for like, $25,000-$30,000 for one repair that.
No, it could be
wasn't
just a
anticipated.
general, we always have enough to cover for
Unanticipated
unanticipated
expense.
expenses, right, that go through. So we just, let's see, rentals and lease.
And we also had a waste pump go down that we didn't anticipate. It was on, I believe for next year that we were supposed to get a spare for that. So we used the one that we have, so I don't have a spare for that right now.
Professional and technical, we still have 30 in there, so just break down what that anticipating on that might be. And then, engineering, architectural,
So that one I put 50 in. That was kind of our buffer number that we put in.
we did raise it, used to be a lot low, but given all the projects that were going on, we did increase that.
Well, I think normally we had like 5,000 in there.
I know,
And we normally didn't use it.
right,
But we put 50 with the projects going on, and we did end up needing it this year.
right,
We got the money back,
yeah,
but it did get expended out of our budget.
yeah.
But the money's back in our retained
Yeah, we
earnings.
wanted to make
so-
sure we had enough to, 'cause, with everything going on, I agree.
Yeah, and
Yeah, you have to-
if we didn't have that, we would have really been in a bind because there was no other funding source
Right,
to finish what we had to and get the idiots out of town. So
yeah, no, I agree, given everything that's going on. If not much is going on, then obviously it can be reduced.
well, again, I still think that that's a line item that we should have there. Just that's unanticipated, and engineers are always expensive.
They are,
What I would say is we put the 50 in each department. If we don't use it, great. If we use it, it's there. But I would say we don't ever use that number towards setting rates. You know what I mean? Because it's really a one-time expense, and it shouldn't be under our recurring expense to collect revenue for it unless we spend it. You know, I'm looking at that as more of that's a retained earning line item,
Right.
and it shouldn't be factored when we're trying to set rates. But I think it should be there, because that's twice now that if I didn't have money there, this whole $8.5 million project would have stopped if I wasn't able to pull money out of the budget to get that moving and
Right.
buy us time till the fall meeting. It just happened to work out that,
Right, we could have still, I understand what you're saying, we could have still pulled the money out of an expenses knowing we got a meeting coming up in a couple months.
Right.
That we can replenish that at the either annual or special or fall or spring.
no, I get it, but I still gotta explain to another department head that she won't sign off on those type things, and she has to sign off
Mhm.
on those bigger items to say funding is there.
Yeah. Right, if we could, if we demonstrated that, we could cut back on this, and this if needed, so therefore the money will be there. If, depending on what the situation was, obviously, if it gets too big, you can't do that, but I understand what you're saying, no. Other services. It's 160.
That's the
That's a Synagro.
Synagro. It's over 100,000 just for Synagro. And that also covers lab work and stuff like that. But like I said, I already know Synagro's going up. And it's just a matter of if we get in a bind and have to send it somewhere else, that's not even gonna be enough.
Replacement equipment in the last 55,000. And then you have additional equipment of 60,000.
The 60 was a vehicle.
So if you could just get us just the ones of basically any of the larger breakdowns, so as long as we have
So one of the replacement equipment things is the SCADA computers. Because they told me last year that those are to a point that they're probably not gonna be supported. And we're at the time life expectancy of what they expected for those computers. And if we lose the SCADA computers, the whole treatment plant goes down, so.
So if you can get us a copy of just on those line items.
I'll tell you what
Just
those items are.
Break down those numbers on.
Yeah.
Just so we can justify the bigger numbers. So basically anything that.
Oh,
anything
actually, you know
that's-
what? The 55 was not including the SCADA computers. I kept the 55 in there because I haven't done that project yet. That's the HVAC stuff. So I've got 35 coming up that we're gonna have to do for the SCADA computers, but I didn't change the number because I'm not sure where I stand yet. So the HVAC replacement stuff.
Yeah.
This one where,
Is that last year's? I probably have that in there.
oh, you probably.
Huh?
Yeah, a lot of my notes are from last
Oh,
year,
okay.
but
I probably have that. So,
some of these I've made some changes, but most of them are in there. But if you ever walking outside here, you probably smell that heater. The one that's the rooftop unit over there. So I'm just hoping we can make it through the winter, because I'd rather wait. I don't want to replace it right now. For the
Which one
fire.
is that?
The rooftop unit, it's the original unit for that building, so it's
Oh,
21, 22 years old. He said it's not repairable. It'll cost more to repair it than to
Than
just
replace
replace it. And I'm trying to get through this winter so that I can get to the point, because we gotta replace it anyway to switch over to natural gas instead of the propane. So the water heater, he said it's on its way out, which he said he couldn't convert to gas anyway, so it'd have to be replaced. So the Cyclone water heater in there and the rooftop unit would need to be replaced. He can rejet the Modine heater in the chemical room. And then the Modines down in the filter room that run on propane, he said they're sealed units and you can't rejet them or whatever
Right,
to
yeah.
go to natural gas. And those are all original too, and those have been replaced.
I thought we had to do all that already. Did we already do that? Or was that,
I haven't converted any of them yet.
oh, I must remember talking about it.
Yeah, we had discussed it, like I said, it's in the budget,
Yeah,
but I didn't get them in to get it done
okay.
in time before the heating season started. So to swap over, I guess it's a pain setting up the gas inspector and Eversource and the contractor, because I guess you gotta do the piping and stuff, pressure test it. They have to come out and inspect before they'll connect it to the meter or whatever.
mhm.
So there's a lot involved to do so the building would be without heat unless we brought temporary heat in to get it all set up, so.
So what's the plan, alternative plan gonna be?
So my plan is to hopefully wait till we get out of this heating season, do it in the spring, which would still be under this budget. And then I can take the 55 out of the next one.
So what are they running on now?
It's running now on
Oh, it's
propane.
existing, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like I said, I'm going on borrowed time on the one on the rooftop unit, because you can go out there and smell it's not running right.
I
I
was
lost
listening,
you.
but I was reading it. I did hear, I was listening side, but
You're sitting there with
I
numbers
heard-
going through your head and you're hearing bits of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, how much propane do we have left? Are we gonna have to buy some more? or-
Yeah, they keep filling it in. They keep coming in and filling it in
Every,
every
what, couple of weeks?
Yeah, they're in here today. So, but I'm gonna look at it and try to figure out how much longer and tell them stop deliveries. So hopefully we can run them all right down to almost nothing.
Mhm.
And then I had on my list,
What was the cost to change those? Do you remember what the cost was on that?
to change what?
Those-
It was roughly
Change.
55 to do all the conversions with all the units that need to be replaced.
Yeah.
The piping that needs to be replaced, because some of the piping, because it takes like twice as much natural gas. It's like
Give
0.5,
a foot wise.
yeah, 0.55, it's 0.55 on natural gas compared to propane.
Yeah.
So you gotta do like 45% more to get it to the same BTU. And the pipe size, unless they went oversize, you have to upgrade the pipe on some of it. And it's not all the pipe, but like, I think the further building is like you gotta replace 20 feet to 1.5 inches instead of 1 inch to get, they got calculations on how much it'll carry. So there's some piping that needs to be replaced, which we have to replace some piping anyway, because the gas is coming in a different spot than the propane is currently. But a matter of how many feet of pipe they gotta replace, and then the units that either they rejet or replace. And I think all the ones that need to be replaced as opposed to rejet are all original, so they're all 22 years old, which is pretty much already exceeded the life expectancy of them anyway, especially in the environment, some of them. I mean, I can't believe the ones in the filter room haven't needed to be replaced yet.
It'll be,
It'd be a lot more efficient too,
Right.
22 years ago.
Yeah, technology's changed.
Mm.
Well, I think we
Oh,
can
wow.
downsize them
well,
myself.
I'm wondering if would it be, have you done any comparisons as changing out the mini splits for heat?
Oh, that way too much area.
Way too much area.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were at that technology yet.
And with this one,
Mini splits aren't very efficient.
No?
they're efficient for AC. It's the heat that they're not quite as efficient. But,
They're good for air conditioning, why not heat?
right.
I don't know, I put some in for heat, it's been,
They're a lot better. They got the, I forget what they
Cheap
call
oil.
them now.
Hyper heat,
Hyper heat.
Okay.
yeah, it's cheap and oil, it's a hyper, it goes down to,
negative
Negative.
24.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know how it makes heat at negative 24, but it does,
Magic.
yeah.
But just those are huge units. It's like, I think the calculation was 500,000 BTU that we're using in that filter room.
Yeah,
So to do a mini split with that would be
Yeah.
massive.
Oh, yeah.
a lot of the new building codes now,
I know,
everything
require-
require all electric for heat, everything. It needs to have heat pumps on everything,
Some of the towns don't even allow you to use gas or oil
yeah, that's right.
in
But
new
you-
construction.
the problem is you can't meet the numbers you need for the HERS rating to come in
Right.
at, get the all numbers, so they set it up, they know, and they're obviously crafty about how they go about it. And they basically structure it, so if you wanna get any rebates or incentives, and they make it tight on the number, that you
The only
can't,
option is electric.
you have to go by electric to meet the number. They don't tell you you have to, but they say you have to meet this number.
Right, yeah.
Oh, you can use gas
You
or
can
oil,
use
but
gas
you
or
gotta
oil,
meet this
but
number.
you gotta meet this number.
Now, if you go to high efficiency mini splits, they're like twice as much money.
Yeah, and that's why the price of housing is going up so much.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is, going through the roof on stuff.
Yeah.
And this unit here, it does the lab, which is highly regulated on temperature for doing all your testing, so, you know, that has to be maintained at 68 volts or whatever, so the HVAC has to
Yeah.
be able to maintain that regardless of the conditions, so.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was any advancement in any of that, for big stuff like that.
Yeah, it's,
Nothing.
like I said, that's a lot of BTUs that you gotta
Yeah.
do for that building, so.
Do you already have a contractor lined up for that?
Well, because of the cost, I
Right.
have to put it out to bid, so.
Yep.
We got the 60 on the water under additional equipment and 60 on the sewer under additional equipment. That is, I just put line items in there for vehicles. I don't have actual quote sheet for them or what they are. And we also gotta keep in mind that, you know, even like on the news today, they're pushing the whole electric vehicle thing, and you know, if we wait too long on vehicles, we may end up being required to go electric, even though we don't have charging stations in the state or anything for anything. So.
Well, I think that's gonna get,
Yeah, I think it's
I think that'll get squashed. In the next 4 years anyway.
But that was more of a state requirement than the federal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's all state driven. A lot of it.
It is.
So, being a democratic state, I don't know that. I don't know that it will get squashed as much as we hope it will. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a whole political game, but
I take it.
we also gotta look at the fact that that truck and that truck are old and falling apart, so the bed's rotting out on the 250, which is the newer out of those two trucks. The other truck will be 18 years old.
Yeah,
This one's
give us a list of
10 years old.
next meeting.
Optional vehicles.
No, list current vehicles, what year they are,
Beer mileage.
mileage, and
Yeah,
all that.
08 350, a 2011 250, and a 20 350. I don't know if the mileage really helps you a lot,
No,
because
it's not, it's
Yeah,
not.
because that 350 probably has about 500,000 miles if you went by the hours that
Oh,
we
yeah.
probably put on it.
So the service truck,
The old service truck is in 08.
yeah, replace that for Steve's drive, Steve's got the,
Right, well, and that's what I said when we replaced it. It wasn't really replacing that one. That one got shifted over. That one replaced another one that we had junked.
right, we kept that for a secondary vehicle.
Well, we kept that one to replace another older vehicle, so it
Right.
just shifted, and then we off the smaller one, or the older one.
Which truck was that?
That was
Oh,
the
it's
old
been-
utility bed
we had
that
that.
had the fiberglass bed.
Oh, that was way back, yeah, Jesus.
But we were using that until we shifted them around.
Yeah. Then we had the Jeep
And
for
then
a
we had the
while.
Jeep that was, we got 2 years out of that for nothing, so.
So we got the new service truck is what year is that?
20.
20?
I can't believe it's that old.
That's the service. That's,
What year is it?
20.
20.
that's,
It's only 5 years old.
I know, but I said that I'm getting the Josie syndrome. I'm like, yeah, we just got
I
that
know.
truck
Yeah,
like 2
I
years
know.
ago.
That's what happened, it creeps up on you.
Good thing we didn't listen to Pam, we have about a dozen new trucks already.
yeah. And then we have what's the next newest one?
The
Is the one that-
11.
the 11, right? That's the
That's a 250.
250.
With the lift gate.
Yeah.
So standard bed lift gate.
Yeah.
And then the 08 350 utility bed.
That's good. That's good too.
We're not spending a whole lot of money on maintenance, are we? And then-
That's why
Yeah,
I
I
said,
know.
that's why I put 2 in there, because the 350 it's running on borrowed time.
Mhm.
If you go start it up right now, it'll sound like there's no exhaust at the manifolds. It warms up and it seals up a little bit, but if you have to do manifolds on that, it's worth more than the truck.
Fords do this. You guys have
Yeah.
Fords, right?
Yeah, those old 5.7s.
Yeah.
The 5.7, they're the same thing on all of them.
Yeah.
That's why my truck's sitting in my driveway right now.
Yeah, I did talk to Jared.
I was gonna say,
told-
Jared must have told you.
He did. He, said, he told me, he said,
Getting tired.
because he does Jeff does.
He does the work on it.
He does. He does. He's been doing all my family stuff for years
Yeah.
and years. And he goes, "Oh yeah, just stuff FYI." He said, "Make sure you guys put in for a new truck." He goes, "That thing, it's on his last leg. He goes, it's starting. It's going to start being really
Money pit.
money pit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said,
And
it's,
so was the other one. I don't know if
It's
he
helped.
said both of them to you, but
He just said primarily. I think it was that 08. I think is one.
well, this
whichever
one he told me, he goes, you better get on those commissioners to spend some money because you're gonna start putting a lot into this because the AC went down in this, and he said it was gonna be like 3,500. I'm like, yeah, that'll wait till summer if you
Yeah.
think about even doing that. But, you know, water main breaks. You kind of need the AC in case you gotta go to get out of the fucking heat pump.
Well, we plan on replacing one of them this year.
That's it'll be on the budget.
Yeah.
You guys make that determination.
Probably worth at least getting pricing on it.
Yeah.
Municipal pricing.
Yeah.
That's a 350, you need a 350?
Well, you should have the utility bed because if this utility bed goes down, we don't have a service truck.
Tools and
Yeah.
equipment.
And Steve was like, he'd rather be in the old one than this one. He doesn't like this one. Issues with it. We've already had a bunch of issues with it.
No. Check the GMC Chevy prices too.
Yeah,
I've always had better luck with.
I like the GMCs.
GMC's,
Yeah.
Chevy,
I've never had any
Never
issues
buy
with
one.
my truck is a 13, and I have had 0 issues on just
Mhm.
general maintenance stuff. But as far as
I got no
I
problem
mean,
with
the body's starting to
GMCs.
rot out, but
Yep.
but other than that, everything else is.
I think John had issues with his. I think it was a Chevy than the GMC.
They had issues with the Fords. I don't know. Steve went to the Chevy. With the,
I
with
thought
the
they
one
always
ton-
had
with the
Chevys,
one
and
ton.
then
And
like
those
that
are
orange
Fords.
one, I thought that was a Chevy, and he had all kinds of issues with it.
No, they were always Fords.
They're all kind of quirky. They all have their own.
Yeah.
I don't remember
their own
John
stuff.
having any Fords.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'll
We-
talk to him.
I was talking about that. I was referring to John, but it's Adam.
Yeah,
I always say, used to be always say Bob, and then it took forever to say John, and you think then John's there. And it took forever. Now John's not there, now it's Adam, so you take forever to
And John let you know.
get. Yeah,
It's not me, we're talking
yeah.
about.
I know. But they had Fords, because bus trucks were Fords, and then John had some Fords too. He did switch.
So I
to
thought
Chevy.
John started going to Chevys, and then he had said he didn't like it, he wanted the Ford.
Yeah.
I'll check.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll ask John his opinion just because he went through it.
Yeah.
Adam, I think anything he's bought is brand new, so
Yeah,
I don't know where he stands with any of that.
yeah, I'll ask him too. I've had one myself, and they were the less, GMC.
I like my
They were a little bit more money initially to buy them, but
They're not much more.
not much more, but the maintenance was,
Everything's
was so much cheaper as far as the maintenance of it over longevity.
Mm-hmm.
I had less expenses with it.
We should have bought a dozen of the 250s when I bought that and just put it in the garage somewhere and wait until we needed it. Because that I got the 24 grand, try finding one now.
But I mean, you deal with that on a daily basis, so you probably.
Yeah, I mean, we got a fleet of about 20 Fords. So,
Yeah.
They're all
I mean,
Fords?
yeah, we're all Ford. Both companies.
Any particular reason?
I mean, parts availability. I mean, just about anything you're gonna get has issues.
Yeah. Well,
You
yeah.
know, it's a lot of the components are made by the same manufacturers.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I don't know, service wise and support. Ford seemed to do pretty good, but so it doesn't matter if it's a Mack or a Ford or a Chevy.
Yeah, okay.
But
You either got a good one or a bad one, right?
yeah,
You know, the Dodgers, they're discounting
Yeah.
like crazy.
I've never really had luck with Dodge.
$12,000.
There's a reason.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I tried the Dodge once, I couldn't, same thing, I didn't work out well.
Right?
I like my old
That's
12.
probably why
12
they're discounting so much.
I don't like them like that.
Alright, so, ticket items,
One good thing about looking for a truck now, there's plenty of them around.
yeah.
Right.
Well, if you listen to
Yeah,
all the stuff on the news about the electric, we should be able to get a good deal on an electric one because
Yeah.
they have to sell one for every gas
Yeah.
one or whatever, and they're all just piling up on the lots.
Yep.
They can keep them. The hybrids, I think, are okay. The hybrid vehicles, the cars, 'cause then you can, at least if you're not sitting stuck somewhere,
Yeah,
An hour
200-mile
charge,
range.
yeah.
Right.
you can at least it switches over automatically. You can
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
Then you can go home, you can plug it into a regular outlet, someone down there,
Uh,
just a regular outlet to charge all night.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about it here. It's just because, you know, I'm the same mindset as you. It's like, I don't want to be stuck somewhere and be like, all right, now I'm stuck here for 3 hours while I
Yeah,
try to
right.
charge this thing so I can get home.
Yeah.
But here, we don't drive miles.
Right.
It's very short, local. We could probably get by. I don't care if we wait until they force it on us, but.
They haven't shown anything to me that they're expensive to buy. When they say that they're obviously because they can charge them. I mean, I don't know if do we get free charging if we
I think we would if it's a town.
Unless it's center.
but our
we-
fuel really isn't the big. I mean, our fuel really isn't a big expense. But I just think the cost to buy those to justify what we need is the payback is. I don't
Well, that's what I'm
know.
wondering, if they got all of them sitting on the lot and they have to unload some of them in order to sell more gas vehicles, I don't know why they're not offering huge discounts on them.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me, I just need a pump station, I don't care what I'm
I know.
I don't think electric would be good for us down here.
In the winters, cold, the idling, the trucks are always idling.
There's no way with electric.
I know, but I'm just thinking about the batteries is sitting in the cold, freezing.
Well, that's the-
Does it get real weak?
They are weak in the cold. You lose
mileage.
life out of the
Right.
cold, but they'd be inside, so they'd be warm. So it's
Right.
really only during the day when you're out. So I don't know how much it affects it, because you're starting off with a full charge when it's warm.
Right, but I'm thinking, because a lot of times, like, you need the heat or the AC when you're on a,
Yeah. So you got an auxiliary
right.
heat pump running to.
That-
Yeah.
That's
Heat
what
the
I was
cab.
kind of thinking, you know, 'cause we're vehicles, it's running, you're using
Right.
the fuel, but you're sitting there on a leak for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And you gotta go, get the truck running to keep, so everybody gets warm or cool off, whatever it might be. Not sure how that would work out with electric.
Me either, I'm not sure, so. Like I said, I thought of it and I'm like, well, we don't really drive 150 miles a day, so
Right.
the charge should last fine, but then I looked at it the other way, some of them, I think that is it the GMC that has the like built-in generator, inverter?
I don't
So
know.
it supposedly it's like a 4,000 watt generator basically on board you can plug in.
Oh,
And
yeah.
actually, it might even be higher than that because
I
someone
think
said
the
that you can run a
F-150s
house
have
on
it
them.
too.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the Fords, the GMC. I know the
I
Cyber
think it's like a
trucks have it.
5,500 watt.
Something like that. So
Yeah.
you'd eliminate the need for a generator. It'd basically be the vehicle could be your backup generator or whatever.
That runs on fuel?
No, it's just the charge itself. It'll run for so many hours, just running like as an inverter, not a generator. But
Right.
so it's like having a generator with you. So if we're out on a job site and you need to run, power
Mhm.
tools, you just plug it into the truck. You don't have another generator that you're sitting there trying to run or whatever.
Yeah, they actually have those. We should have those in the utility body, because I had one for a while. They work pretty good. You can put
Oh, the
them
inverters?
yeah, you put them right inside.
I had planned on.
inside the box, like
Yeah.
utility companies have, gas
Yeah,
companies have.
I planned on putting it in.
Just plug in whatever you need.
Yeah.
In the 20, but we didn't.
chargers.
Yeah,
We didn't get that far.
yeah,
But yeah, that was the intent to put the inverter right in there.
yeah, they just.
But we had to run a separate battery for it.
Yeah, they run
because
another line up to it.
you can only go so many feet from the battery to the inverter.
Yeah,
So you'd have to run something to tie it into the alternator to charge it. But
yeah. I had one that
We had
came
looked
out,
into it.
came out of an old, what's the, not Charter, the other one, the utility company, cable
National Grid?
company. No, cable company. They're not.
Spectrum?
No, not Spectrum. They don't service this area, but
Charter.
it's out one of the other companies anyway.
Verizon.
But it came out of their truck.
Yeah,
It was the one that they had. I tried it out and it worked good.
yeah. I've got two of them. I got that at home. I've got a 3,000 and a 4,000. I think. Yeah, they work great, and it's clean power, so you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about you can't run computers off of like a regular generator because the power's not clean.
Inconsistent, right?
Anyway,
All right. So yeah, we just want to get, just when you break the budget down, we'll just go through that. Break out those line items like we talked about, right?
Yep.
So just like we have them,
yeah, like I said, I've got
like these ones here,
Yeah,
we'd
I've
have
got
the
stuff like
accounts, and then we'd break them out where it was. And then, water is the same thing, I think, right?
yep.
Pretty much everything looks the same.
So you still have that deal with buying a vehicle through the state?
Municipal bid list. Yeah, we still get state bid list pricing.
No, I know one time, one of the trucks we bought cheaper through a dealer than we bought through the
Oh,
state.
well, it was still through the state, but what it was that was the 250.
Mm-hmm.
No, the 250 I bought through MHQ, but it was the new 350, the 20. That one, when I went out and got the price from the bid list, they gave me the price, and I said, well, I'll get other prices just in case. And the company we got it actually supplies it to the company that was through the bid list, so
Cut out the middleman.
exactly. So it did save us a little. They just came in as the low bidder whenever I put it out. So.
Yeah.
But like I said, they know they can beat the other guy's price because they're selling
Yeah.
it to them anyway. So.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'll ask around. We'll get prices on GMCs and Ford. I'm not getting a price on a Dodge, so.
What?
So I'm not getting a price on a Dodge.
Chevy or GM, the same thing now anyway. Used to be the GMC.
Different badges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's just cosmetic.
Yeah, the GMCs used to be the heavier duty.
Yeah. But
Had
they,
the stronger frames,
Yeah.
springs, everything was more for construction as
Is
opposed
that
to.
still the same today, though?
no,
No, they're pretty much
Chevy,
the
yeah.
same. Just
cosmetic is different, that's
Yeah.
all, just all,
the different badging and stuff.
yeah.
I still like the GMC better.
They put the Michelin's tires on the GMCs. Different things. So what we have for a total, just rough draft.
No, I don't. Without all the other numbers, I think it's going to be way off.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so just break them down, Bob, and then anything like public works wise, break down
Yep.
what's included in that. So basically look at, when we sit down, when we look at the budget, we can go through that, and we're not trying to figure out what's in that line item, we know exactly what that number arrives at. Just like you did last year under this current fiscal year budget.
That's how I typically do it, I just never gave you guys these sheets that I have on the side.
Well, I have, on these ones,
Yeah,
yeah, I know, I always wanted, we used to look at, I think we started doing that 2 years ago,
yeah.
so we can, instead of.
I know, because I always had it, and then I also, like on my copy, I always have my notes on the side.
Yeah,
So when you guys are asking questions about it, I can tell you
yeah,
what I added in, that's why it went up. But
Right.
I didn't do it the last couple of years, but usually I would take the budget, and I would load it into my system, and I would make all the notes on it, so then I could just go back and, but the last 2 years I haven't done that, so.
but one of the reasons I don't give you guys that one is because when I spread it out so you get those, it's even smaller than you're looking at now, so.
Then I'll need glasses.
yeah.
All right. So what's any anticipated projects coming up for that you're looking
Yeah,
at?
I got a whole crop load of them. That's all stuff that I wrote in the side.
Same as,
So-
is it on this one?
No.
Anything carry?
Some of them's on there, some of it'll carry over, depending on whether or not I can get them in or not. But yeah, I've got my book here, some notes of stuff that I need to get done, so. Some of them small stuff that'll just fit into the regular repairs and maintenance. So one of the bigger items, well, there's two bigger items that I've gotta come up with a solution for. We got the screener. I've talked about it for a couple of years. But I mean, when the engineers gave us the price, it was $304,000 for the screener. But it's wreaking havoc with the tanks now because it's the fabric, like lint and stuff, it's getting through and it.
Oh, it's not filtering as good.
No, there's a tear in one of the stainless steel screens on that screw, so there's stuff getting through, and I don't know if it's because we were a textile mill or what, but a textile town, but the bacteria that we grow are little weavers, and they weave all that shit back together, and it wraps around everything out in our tanks. So I gotta do something with that screen. And then the Pistagrid, I don't think the unit itself needs to be replaced, but I have had everybody around that I can think of to try to give me a price to repair it, and nobody will give me a price so far. I've got two of them that keep calling the manufacturer to get different details on the unit, and still haven't got anybody to give me a price. But the engineer's price on that, saying they said it should be replaced, but that was $800,000. And if I can repair it, I'd rather repair it than replace it. So, but I've spent the last couple of years trying to get somebody to give me a price to repair it, and I haven't got anyone yet.
And nobody will give a price.
Nope.
Any reason why, or?
I don't know. It's a crappy job, but I mean, you need a crane truck to do it. But all the people that we use for everything all have crane trucks. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone I ask, I'm like, "Can you give me a price to do this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then
You don't hear nothing.
I don't hear nothing. We call back. They're like, "Oh well, can you send me the documentation?" So we send them stuff. And they're like, "Oh, I need something further." So then they contact the manufacturer, and then I still haven't got anywhere with it. But at some point, I got to do something to fix it before it actually fails.
Is it a parts issue? Can they get parts?
I don't think it's a parts issue. I just think that they don't know how to repair it. So the main thing is it's a slow moving thing. So it's a big gearbox that just has gears that move slow. Well, the oil disappears out of the oil bath. So we assume there's a seal around the shaft that it's going. And one of the people that we had that went the furthest down the road came back and said, "There's no seal there. The oil doesn't get to that." I'm like, well, in my mind, I don't see how that's possible. You got to have an oil bath, and there's got to be a way for the shaft to get through to the unit that's down underneath and there's no way to go through the middle without having some kind of seal to keep it from getting
Right.
the oil. So it doesn't make sense to me that they say there's no seal, and in my opinion, that's got to be what the problem is just the seal around the shaft to separate from the oil bath and the gears down to the drive shaft. And they're telling me that there's no seal there. I just don't believe
There an O-ring or something? There's gotta be O-ring or something.
no matter what it is, it's some
Yeah,
type of seal, whether
Yeah,
it's
you
an
get a
O-ring
drawing,
or
get a drawing on it.
that's what
That's what they're trying to
he
get.
said. The drawings that we have don't give him enough detail. He called the manufacturer to get more detailed drawings, and he says there's no seal there, which I still don't believe. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know. And all the gearboxes and everything I've ever worked on, I just don't. You can't have a shaft coming down, a motor, a shaft going into a gearbox, and a shaft going out of the gearbox without having some kind of seal.
Right.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
So I don't have an answer for you.
So we,
Unless we want to upgrade one of these trucks to a crane truck. And it'd be a big crane truck, 'cause that unit's heavy.
bring one of your service trucks to the meeting, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
It's gonna be an extended meeting, you're gonna hear some banging outside.
Yep, yep.
Daytime meeting, we're gonna start at, meeting's gonna start at 8. Let's see, I'm looking, so did we do the, no, we didn't do that, tree removal, mobile, tree and fence repairs, we had 10,000.
So I didn't wanna do fence repairs at mobile yet, until we do some tree stuff, because we've already taken out a fence with trees.
Yeah,
Not
so-
us, just Mother Nature. But,
Yeah,
we did do a bunch of tree work.
I think that was the damage from the trees. Fence repairs, no damage from the trees, so that big
That's the
up at
big
mobile,
one up
yeah.
at mobile. I haven't done that yet, because I wanna get some of the trees taken down before I do any more fence repairs.
Right, we had 3,000 in
Tree
bunch of
removal.
tree removal there.
Yeah, 3 there, and I had 3 somewhere else.
Tree removal.
I don't have it listed. Oh,
There we
so
go.
one of these this was not mobile, this was here. Because down back, we had 2 trees come down and take down half the fence down the back. But again, I've got a giant tree over here that definitely needs to come down. But we did a bunch of tree removal down here.
How did that fit through? It's the same, we got the same number. It's listed in 2,
The tree removal?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This one is mobile. No, this one is sewer. Oh, this one is mobile. 'Cause this is sewer. So this is down here. I put mobile, but I just cut and paste.
Oh, I was gonna say,
So
this one,
this one should not say mobile. It's down here.
top one.
Yeah. So there was tree removal that I had to do here because there's a couple trees over here that were going to hit the building. The tree over there was right near the telephone pole that was all dying, and there was nowhere for it to go without hitting something. We're either hitting the wastewater tank, the sludge disposal system, or the telephone,
Yeah.
or the generator and the wires. So that work got done here. We took down a bunch of trees here. At mobile, we did not take the trees down at mobile yet. We took down a bunch at Turbine and at Glen. So some of those are done, but mobile has not been done yet.
Fence.
The fence repairs I haven't done until we finish a little more tree work.
Oh, so we had budgeted, did we budget twice for that?
For fence,
No, we
I
did.
got fence repairs that need to be done every day. Mobile,
Pond Street.
Colonial, yeah, so mobile, Colonial, Primary has tree damage on the fence. Down here has tree damage on the fence. Turbine's the only one that doesn't have tree damage. So mobile, the treatment plant, and primary all have damage from the fence for trees.
We had 10,000 for mobile,
Where is it?
the repair and maintenance agreement, fence repairs.
Yeah, for
mobile.
fences,
Yeah. And we also had fence repairs,
down here.
new damage from trees, 10,000.
Yeah. We've taken out the fences down here like 3 times. That's why I said I'm not gonna do the fences until I take down more trees.
And we budgeted, 3 and 3, so 6,000.
Yeah, I figured 3 on the water, 3 on the sewer. Like I said, we did a bunch here. There's
Yeah.
still a little more to do before.
We did the, this building, well, we did the front, painting.
We did the front, we did the back.
Yeah.
It's just the 2 tops that we gotta do up on the top side of these.
I want the fire alarm panel.
I have not done that yet.
It's 25,000.
Sure, that's gonna be enough,
Filter rehab, metal fab.
but yeah, that's
Cool.
not done. I've gotta get, Lear to come down and see if he can do the fab work, because when I got the pricing for the rehab, nobody would give me the same pricing, so the easiest way to solve that is just to have O'Leary to come do all the metal fab work, and then they're just bidding on the coating. But I want that done before this budget's done, so this spring that needs to get done.
SBR control panel, 120,000.
Yeah, we didn't, so this whole list of items that we got here isn't budgeted, just so you know.
That's
So that came up to $449,000.
We picked out the ones that we were gonna do. So this was tree removal.
Yeah, so for here, the tree removal we did.
The pista grit repairs.
That's the one I told you I can't get anybody to give me
Okay.
the pricing on.
We had budgeted 25 for that. And then we had decant pump. Spare sludge pump.
Did we have those under this year's budget? Because I thought we budgeted for the, we budgeted
That was
for.
24. Spare, no, that's for the Davis pump. Decant
Right,
pump
Davis
is-
pump is the one that we had said we were gonna do. I got the Davis pump, that's done.
Yeah, we need the spare pump for sludge decant pump. 2 of them.
I was gonna say, I need 2 because
Yeah, we had budgeted
we already,
10,000.
we already put our spare in, so I need 2 more.
Yeah, so we had put in the budget for 10, the 25 was gonna be 2 of those.
Yep.
And then one else was 25. I think that was it. 25.
Yeah, the intent is still to get those pumps before the end of this budget season. But like I said, I couldn't spend all this yet, because we already spent 25 on stuff that is not on this list.
Through, I thought we went through.
And we couldn't have budgeted all those, because we only
Yeah.
have 113 total for that, and our normal is like 40, so. So we didn't budget all those items, I can tell you that.
Let's see the ones. Yeah, we just got to go through.
So we had the intake silencers, those got done. Headworks, instead of spending the 10 on that, we're going a different route and making our own, basically. So that'll be done. Precast stairs, I don't think we ended up adding that. It's in there, but we didn't add it. Blower, stage replacement, I think that's one that we were supposed to do, I have not done that yet. Chemical root treatment's gonna get moved up, because we had to do that, because this was all blocked up over here with tree roots, and we cleaned it the last 2 times, and had to have them spend a couple hours chopping roots.
Yeah, so we just have to go through and see. This is, we arrived at those numbers to come after the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's been pulled out? It was March 20th was the approved budget, the one that we got on March 20th. And we had, this was on 3/13, so this one was the previous week. So, I think we still use that, or we have the budget for 3/13. Right. Just break everything out so we can look at it and go through it. Break out what projects are completed, what still needs to be completed. And then do the 2-year.
Yeah,
Get
the
right
full
to it.
year, the
Yeah.
existing
Yeah,
years.
yeah. 2-year analysis. 3-year, so projected. I think we should
The
do it.
previous full
Previous
full
full-
budget, the partial budget,
Yeah.
and the proposed budget.
Yeah. So, other than that, we can figure out what we're gonna do, what we're gonna spend, right? We have, obviously, revenue report as well. Where we are on the projected revenues that actually we should have. We got one more billing cycle, so we can look at last year's, the revenue report for FY24.
Yeah.
What we have up to date. I think that's it. Is there anything else?
I think that covers it.
And then,
Hopefully there's no stupid COVID. This is only the second time in history we've started this early on the budget, and the last time we did it, we didn't approve the budget until like October.
okay, that's all I have for the budget stuff for now, anyway.
Yep.
Just to get a good overview. And I would like to, we probably should work more towards on getting a 3-year projection as well. Try to project out, so every year, we just add them, if we complete 1 year, we make sure we project out. So we always have 3 years ahead of us, so we can kind of,
Well, that's what I said,
and then it also helps when we do the rates, so we can do a projection of 3 years based on what we need to project out.
well, we'll have more, we'll have a bigger handle on that once we finish up the water asset management.
Yeah.
So we did the sewer asset management. It's kind of finalized, but they were gonna tie the two together to give you a kind of a rate study type thing
Yeah.
and tie all those big expenses in. I wanna say it was like a 10-year that they were looking for, so something.
Sometimes the reality of going out that far, is-
I get it, and.
it's nice to look at, but in reality, things are gonna shift around.
Right. Yeah, to be honest, you try to plan 10 years here and
Yeah, you
all
can't.
shit hits the fan next
Yeah.
year, you're not waiting 10 years, so.
I always think 3, 5 is, a nice one, but reality, 3 years if you can, as long as you stay 3 years, pretty well. I mean, obviously the larger things, you have to be planned out for, but
So we'll have a-
just generally,
Right.
generally speaking.
We'll have a bigger picture on that once
Yeah,
we get through the asset management.
yeah.
Did we have well rehabs on last one? All the well rehabs were done. I think we budgeted, I think that was the budget. For water, so.
Was it?
All the wells were rehabbed.
I'm sure it's in my folder. From all the stuff I had last year. All right, so what else, anything else on the agenda, or is that it?
That's it for the agenda, it's just future agenda items, if you guys got anything you wanna add. Kind of assume the next few will be taken up by budget.
Budget, yeah.
Budget, hopefully, interviews.
Okay.
Do we have any other open session?
Nope.
Bob, all you.
Also on it,
Make a motion to adjourn, we good on everything else, Bob?
open session, nope,
We good?
that would be,
Make a motion to adjourn at 8:30.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.